Hello friends, I am Dr. Suchita Vishwakarma from School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Today I am here to discuss a very important topic of Unit 2, and that is distribution related issues and challenges. This is the ninth lecture in the series. So, students, before we understand the issues and challenges, because understanding the problems is very important in any topic, because unless and until we do not know the topic, the challenges, we will not be able to rectify. So, before we start the discussing about the issues and challenges, let us also understand that what is distribution. In my previous lecture, I had also described about distribution, and distribution I had mentioned that it is the one of the very important functions of logistics, and logistics is obviously one of the very important part of supply chain management. So, what distribution is? Distribution basically, if you see the literal meaning, it basically is an act of transferring or moving people or material from one place to another. Now, where is distribution required in supply chain? In supply chain, if you see, there are various nodes and internodes. Nodes and internodes in terms, there are various people, there are various organizations which are involved in this supply chain process. The first series of the organizations that are part of the supply chain are the various suppliers from which any company procures their material. So, we can consider the first chain, the first node, the first few nodes as the various suppliers. These suppliers send their products to the producer. This producer procures these material, converts into raw material, converts these raw material into a final product, and then they send it to the distributor. So, the second node is obviously the producer, the third node is the distributor, then these distributors further send the product to wholesaler, wholesaler then sends it to the retailer, and then finally the product is given to the end user, that means the end customer. So, this complete movement of goods may be raw material, work in progress goods or the finished goods. The distribution is something which happens at every node. That means, even the supplier is distributing the goods from it's sent to the producer end, producer is sending the goods, the finished goods from his end to the distributor end, then distributor is sending to the wholesaler, wholesaler is sending to the retailer. So, everyone is basically concerned with the distribution, and since supply chain is a process which is which involves lot of activities, and there is a lot of coordination and integration required in terms of all these people, these organizations, as many organizations are participating and working together in a particular supply chain. So, there may be situations where they are facing lot of problems because of the complexity of this complete chain. So, over here we need to understand that what are the different types of issues and challenges which are being faced by the different intermediaries, the different nodes of the supply chain. So, let us get started. So, we will be discussing quite a few of issues and challenges. Let us go one by one with it. The first challenge is the global perspective. Students, you all need to understand that in today's world, none of the companies are working in isolation within their own country. All the companies are trying to work across borders. That means, they are either trying to procure goods from across the other countries, or they are also trying to do international trade in terms of sending their goods to the foreign customers. Now, when if I am a company, and if I am trying to procure goods from other country, and if I am trying to send my goods to the other country, then obviously I have to try to find out ways and methods in which I can be less expensive, I can reduce my cost, as well as I shall be more smooth in terms of the efficiency, in terms of increasing the speed, in terms of the way that I am sending the particular material to the other countries. So, global perspective is very important, because this is one of the problems which companies are facing, because they are trying to procure goods from various countries in order to leverage the economies of scale, in order to be competitive, in order to provide better quality of good. So, global perspective emerges to be a very important challenge and issue, because if companies are not able to address this because of the various cultural differences, because of the various laws and regulatory differences within the countries, the companies need to figure out and understand that how effectively and how smoothly they are able to manage the distances, manage the processes within two nations. Then the second challenge, which is very much of relevance in today's world, is reverse logistics. As I had also discussed in my previous lecture, that due to various governmental regulations and upcoming issues of economic natural environment conservation, there have been lot of focus on reduction, substitution, reuse and recycle, which means the companies are now adopting these practices of reduction, substitution, reuse and recycle, whereby they are trying to reduce the scrap that they have during this production process. They are trying to reduce the cost by encouraging the intermediaries to resend the unused or unsold products. They are encouraging the intermediaries to recycle the kind of products. For example, packaging materials can be resent by the intermediaries to the producer, or maybe the producer can also resend the packaging material to the supplier, so that they can be recycled and reused once again. And so, this plays a very important role. But now, what is the challenge? This is what we need to understand in reverse logistics, because I hope you have understood that what reverse logistics is all about. That means, reverse logistics is basically movement of material, any kind of material, packaging material, unused, unsold material and unsold products from customer, the end customer, to the producer or to the final supplier. So, why reverse logistics emerges out to be a challenge? Because the company has to invest into providing another mode of transportation, another mode of process, another complete chain of transportation, warehousing and logistics for getting these unused, unsold or damaged products back to their premises. So, this also emerges to be a huge challenge for all the companies. Earlier what used to happen, that companies used to have relationships or tie-ups with multiple companies, from which they used to source their products. Because in case of incompetency at one of the supplier, they were able to get the product or the raw material from the other or the substitute companies. But nowadays what is happening, in order to to reduce the cost, the companies are now focusing on having better relationship with few companies, and they are trying to share profits with these companies, so that both can be mutually benefited, and these companies can leverage on the relationship, because then only they will be able to demand and ask for the kind of quantities, kind of qualities at a competitive rate from the particular supplier. So, logistic collaboration is very important, and for this the companies are making lots of alliances and strategic relationship, and they are helping each other in various important decision making roles, like forecasting of demand, like collaborating in case of supply channels, in case of transportation, in case of warehousing and all these functions. So, this is very important, and if a particular company is not able to collaborate, then obviously they will have serious repercussions in terms of increase of cost, and that may also lead to to reduction of product quality or similar things. Then the next challenge is dynamicity. This is obviously emerging as a very important issue or challenge, but for which the companies do not have control, and the only reason is that the external factors these days are very dynamic. the technology is advancing day by day, and lot of new things are coming. Even the governments are very active, the competitors are very active, and they are trying to do lot of research and development to try and find out various advanced processes, advanced products, so as to be competitive, not only competitive but also to reduce cost, to offer better services, better products to the customers, to the end term customers. So, there is always a need for the company to continuously work on their improvement of the complete logistic process and reduction of cost, because then only they will be able to leverage on their competencies, and then only they will be able to have competitive advantage over the other companies. Now, moving ahead. There are, as I said, there are a lot of issues and challenges which needs to be addressed. So, the next challenge that the companies are facing today is limited capacity. Limited capacity basically means lack of sufficient production machineries or warehouse. These days companies are because of the increase of competition, companies are continuously under pressure of improving their products, and they are investing lot of money into research and development and such kind of activities. And as a result, they are trying to reduce their cost on warehousing kind of things, warehousing and transportation. But this also emerges out to be a challenge, because at time of unanticipated demand or not regular demand, the companies are obviously have to create a buffer stock. They should be producing more also. So, and when they are producing more, then obviously they need to keep it properly with proper facilities, so as to reduce the damages, and also so there is a lot of requirement of supporting services in terms of transportation, warehouse, which leads to and if they do not have, then that would lead to limited capacity. The next problem that comes up is technological revolution. Now, what do we mean by technological revolution? I hope you all are very much aware that across the world, with coming up of various IT advancements, with the coming of concepts of artificial intelligence, with the concept of coming up of robotics and everything, now logistics have completely transformed from what it was earlier. Now, the mode of communication in terms of sharing of information has also changed. Now, earlier it used to be that we used to communicate through papers, but now it is everything is on real time basis. And when we are actually communicating on real time basis, then the customer's expectation has also increased to a drastic level. They are wanting everything at the right time, right place, and they are wanting everything at their doorsteps. Now, for example, even if for example all of us are ordering these days products from the e-commerce channel. Now, once we order anything from the e-commerce channel, right from the time that we have ordered, we keep on getting notifications, informations regarding where when we are going to when the particular product is packed, when the particular product is shipped, when we are going to receive it. So, a complete tracking is done, and this tracking is obviously good in terms of the company, but is also raising the customer expectation. So, technological revolution has not only become a challenge, has not only been a boon, but has also become a bane, because it is giving way to lot of complexity and lot of regular continuous improvements that has to be done by the companies. The next issue or challenge is intermodal transportation. Though this particular topic is something that we are going to study in much more detail in later lectures, but for discussion for right now, you must understand that intermodal transportation is basically use of different modes of transportation for one particular shipment. Now, different modes of transportation means there may be a requirement of a particular company to ship a particular consignment from say say Lucknow to another state or maybe another city, in which one mode of commutation is not sufficient. That means, if I am shipping something from Lucknow to, let us say, Bahraich, I am required not to ship that particular, to send that, transport that particular product not only by train, but then I would also require to send it through from Bahraich station to the particular location through maybe truck or through some other mode of mode. So, intermodal transportation basically means use of more than one mode of transportation, and this again gives rise to a lot of complexity, because every particular place may not have proper availability, infrastructure support of different kinds of transportation. So, the company needs to understand that what kind of transportation is required or can be provided for a particular kind of product, and whether it is facilitated by all the requirements or not. Then the next challenge is just in time. Now, just in time is a concept which was given by Japanese people, and in this according to this particular concept, the inventories should be managed in such a manner, or inventory should be procured by the company in such a manner that a small quantity of inventories are being ordered at a frequent intervals, so that the company is not required to store it or warehouse it, or maybe if requirement of warehouse is there, then it is there for very short duration, so that the company is basically able to save on the cost of storing and warehousing. So, this is the concept of just in time. That means having the good at the right place, that means at the particular location where it is required. So, this actually emerges out to be a challenge, because most of the companies are still till date also not able to follow JIT, because it needs continuous follow up with all the suppliers. It needs a very good and integrated communication method, and if not, then the companies will not be able to work on JIT. But yes, even the companies who are actually practicing JIT, they are also having lot of challenges in practicing JIT. Why? Because JIT is one concept which does not work very well in case of irregular demands of the product. If I am not able to forecast my demand, or there is unanticipation, then obviously JIT may act as a failure. The next issue or challenge is customer satisfaction. As I said earlier, because of the increased competition, companies are actually trading off a lot between cost and customer services. Companies need to continuously see and try to find out that what best and what is the best option that they can provide to their customers, because they need to be competitive not only in terms of the product quality, but in terms of the time utility, place utility, and other supporting services. So, there is a lot of because even with the globalization, with access to e-commerce channels, customers are actually having access to the global products, and they are able to they can have an access to products from anywhere across the world. So, achieving customer satisfaction is becoming very difficult these days. So, a company must not forget and must not lose their focus on customer satisfaction. Now, moving ahead, special products. Special products basically means there are obviously various kinds of products which are being sent from one place to another, and there are certain products which for example, like perishable products, maybe dairy products, maybe fruits, vegetables, maybe natural gases, or maybe other kind of gases which are sent through pipeline. For them, transportation, logistics, warehousing is done in different ways. For them, obviously the lead time cannot be much. For perishable products, the lead time cannot be more. For them, it is very important to provide lot of warehousing facilities, because for them the facilities that are available in the mode of transportation and in the warehouse also has to be better equipped and has to be special. So, the company also needs to take care that what other kind of products that they are distributing. The next is the transshipment. Transshipment means basically it basically involves two things, consolidation and break bulk. When the companies are actually procuring their raw materials, they are required to procure it not only from one supplier, but they are required to procure the different kind of materials from different kind of suppliers. Now, if a company is having different modes of transportation, it may not be feasible for the company to send different kinds of transportation to each and every supplier and then get the raw materials procured, because that would obviously lead to increase of cost. So, the company needs to find out ways, try to understand that how they can consolidate all their supplies, and how if maybe by having a distribution center, or this obviously we are going to discuss in much more detail in later classes. But then they need to understand that how or what are the methods of consolidation for the different kind of supplies that they want, and how they can collect it at one point, and then how they can get it to their destination, so that they not only reduce their cost, but also are able to manage all kind of inventories, and they are able to get all kind of inventories at one go, and are able to reduce their delay time if at all. And then obviously the transshipment also talks about break bulk. Break bulk is basically a shipment which provides opposite function to split, and that means it tries to break the larger loads into smaller. That means when a company is sending the final good to the distributor, they are required to distribute it to various distributors. That means they are if they are sending it through one truck, say for example, so they need to give half the part of the truck to one distributor, then half of the part to maybe second distributor, or maybe some part of the truck load to the third distributor. So, they are required. So, the companies are actually required to find out that what are the ways, what is the route plan or route map of the transportation, so that they are able to save on the time and save on the cost as well. The next challenge is the integrated distribution. Integrated distribution is basically an approach whereby different functions of logistics are collaborated and combined together, and it helps the company to find a optimal way in which they can operate to improve their efficiency and to reduce the cost. Then coming to the furthermore issues, the next issue is obviously the government and environmental regulations. Government and environmental regulations basically means that they are, as I said, that when the countries are operating into multiple nations, there are a lot of government and environmental regulations. These regulations may be in terms of the trade activities, it may be in the type of product that the companies are offering, it may be in the terms of the national environmental conservation policies and so the government also so the company is continuously required to check and ensure that they are following the standards and the rules and regulations by the different countries, so that they are not so that they do not face any complexity or any problem further ahead. Then obviously cost reduction, because as I am continuously saying that cost reduction is the prima facie role of supply chain, and only when a company is able to control on their cost, then only they will be able to improve their profit, and then only they will be able to have a competitive edge on the other from the other companies. Then driver shortage and retention. Human resource management, students, is something which is very important over here, because in the complete supply chain process transportation is very important, and the complete transportation for the in India is, if you talk about the transporters, the drivers are not very professional people. It is not a very organized sector. It is I mean the people who are driving these trucks maybe these are transporting the products from one place to another. These are basically not very professional and not very trained. So, there is always a lot of churning of these drivers. They always leave the organization, and so the companies do face lot of shortage of drivers, due to which there is a lot of lead time, delay in the shipment, and ultimately leads to losses to the company or maybe to the intermediary as well. Then supply chain finance. Since supply chain is a complete long, very complex process, and obviously not long, it is not a linear process, it is a complete cyclic process. That means the logistics, then the reverse logistics, and then the movement of material information and money. So, it is a complete, and so in order to control, in order to have a well coordinated and integrated complete supply chain process, the companies are actually required to have lot of money inflow into the supply chain process, and for this they would obviously require lot of finances, which, and if these finances are easily I mean can be procured from the government end, or maybe from the bank's end, or from any other venture capitalist end, then obviously that will facilitate the companies to further improve their working structure. And then the risk management. Obviously companies need to understand that what are the areas that may lead to issues. So, it is very important for the companies to quantify and also understand the qualitative kind of risk that may be faced by the organization, and so it is very important that all these issues and challenges are properly addressed. As you can see from this particular small chart that I have shown over here, it clearly shows that transportation cost is the highest cost that is incurred by a company, and this particular graph has been taken from the Capgemini consulting in 2016, and this clearly shows that what are the various challenges which are faced by the company, and most of the organizations say that cutting transportation cost is one of the biggest challenge, followed by business process improvement, improved customer services, supply chain visibility, and so on. So, these are the various kinds of challenges which a company must understand, identify, and then work for. For further understanding, you may go to these references. So, thank you.